Big Gamer out here. How are you guys doing today? I'm super. Thanks for asking. Right, so Mafia 3, it's out now. A lot of people worried because the reviews weren't coming in upon release. A lot of people were saying it was going to be a bad game. That they were worried that maybe the reviews weren't coming in because they were trying to hide the facts and try to protect the sales for the game. And I'm here to tell you guys not to worry. You can probably just go out and buy this and not have to worry about that. If you were interested in the game, chances are you're still going to like the game. As a fan of Mafia 2 and someone that had played Mafia 1 before it, I can tell you that fans of the series are going to be happy. The way the characters are handled, the story, the attention to detail that Mafia has always had in there, the collectibles and the authenticity of the time and place are all absolutely spot on. Now, if you've been looking around, you might have seen some early talk surrounding the game, some early user reviews, or maybe the occasional review pop up now, and a lot of them are criticising bugs with the game, visual flaws and kind of glitches and stuff like this. Now, again, this is an open world game, guys. GTA 5 didn't launch perfect, and the likes of Skyrim or Fallout launched far from perfect. This isn't broken to that extent. I'm not quite sure why people are complaining so much. In the game, all you're really going to see is the occasional little bit of artifacting, flicker of textures popping in and out, occasional like color banding and stuff like that. It's nothing kind of that's going to break the game. The game comes with a kind of a 2 gig patch to start, and that seems to have fixed most of the stability issues. I didn't have any crashes. I've been playing the game, dozens of hours, and I haven't had any crashes in the game at all. The level of content you're getting for your money is extraordinary. After several hours, it feels extremely linear, and I can see why a lot of people, especially the people that are putting out user reviews and stuff already, I don't believe any of these people have finished the game, or if any of these people are in late game scenarios, because they are saying that it feels repetitive and linear and stuff, but what they're not actually getting to is the meat of the game. Now, this is a game much like Godfather 2, which is a game from back in, I think it was 2008, 2009, where the first act of the game sees you going through things in a linear fashion, completing story missions, and basically each story mission kind of introduces you to a new gameplay mechanic, character, and way to play the game. And then later on, in kind of later parts of the game, in kind of the late game or mid game, all of this stuff opens up, and instead of having one type of this mission, you've now got 10. And instead of having one person that you have to take care of, you've got several, and then you've got several rackets, and you've got options to choose between people, and all of a sudden the character upgrades come through, and all of this stuff is locked early on in the game, and that's why people are saying, oh, it's a little bit, things are feeling a little bit repetitive, maybe there's not enough content here, maybe the game's not as big and open as it was, everyone was expecting. But it really is. And I think a lot of these people, after just a couple of days, just haven't played enough of the game. Because as I've found, as I've gone through, when you unlock certain people and do favours for certain kind of key characters in the game, you gain access to more rackets, more territory, more missions, a hell of a lot more story and dialogue, and also upgrades for your character. And these are fantastic. It's not just unlocking weapons, but it's things for vehicles, it's things for your character, passive abilities, things you can call in, similar to like a Just Cause style thing where you can kind of call in reinforcements or perks that you can have supplied to vehicles. You can have your money picked up and laundered for you and stuff like that. There's a lot to the game, guys, and this isn't even the bits I love about Mafia. Now, what I love about Mafia is how it manages to capture a time and a place, and it just fills it with rich characters and great acting, and some of the side characters, guys, some of the kind of smaller mission givers, they don't have great dialogue, and some of the one-liners from the pedestrians are kind of canned GTA style stuff. But when you're talking about the main characters, the main kind of 12 to 15 characters from the game, the acting is fantastic, the animation is fantastic, you feel like you're in the place. The graphics do have glitches at the moment. I do expect it to receive a second patch at some point, but the style and graphics of the game capture the time and place fantastically. And the biggest thing about this game, the thing I love so much, is the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this game is far beyond anything I've ever heard before. The quality is super, super, super high. It's music from that time and place. You got great bands like the Rolling Stones or the Beach Boys and stuff like that, and it's of such high quality, guys. It's better than any of the soundtracks that have been picked for previous kind of GTAs or any game I can think of, to be honest. If you're talking about licensed tracks, this soundtrack is second to none, and the game feels and looks great. I haven't had any issues with the gameplay at all. It plays a lot like Mafia 2, which was quite a slick cover-based shooter with driving aspects around it. A few things can be changed once you start the game. I think the game hasn't got a few of its settings set just right. The things like the subtitles, just turn them off, guys. The audio is extremely clear. The subtitles look fairly ugly. Just turn that off. Helps us the game feel more cinematic. Also, it might be worth going in there, guys, and adjusting things like the brightness. The game starts ridiculously bright and kind of greys everything out. So I've actually turned it down about 3 notches on brightness, and it does bring the atmosphere back to the game, and it does keep things looking a little bit darker and helps the contrast a little bit. And the game does have great atmosphere, but you do have to adjust that brightness when you go in there. And another thing I might say you might want to try is the simulation driving. So that's also in the options. Just toggle that on and off and give that a go, guys, because I'm playing with the simulated driving and I do prefer that. And yeah, there's a few different difficulty modes there, guys. There's not a huge difference in the difficulty, but what I would say is the amount of auto aim that you put on, it might be worth toggling just to find your preference there, because that does actually make a fairly big difference to how hard the gunfights are. So guys, how much do I like this game? Do you know what? I might just prefer slightly Mafia 2's characters and setting, but this delivers more. This delivers more gameplay, it delivers a bigger open world, and the soundtrack is immense. So I'm actually going to give this game an 8 out of 10, guys, and I do recommend, if you like these kind of games, if you like open world games, story driven games, you're probably not going to get a better one this year, so go out and buy it. It has my full recommendation. Cheers, guys. If you want me to keep bringing you reviews, feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.